Hey guys, it's your boy Mr. Luke Evan Brooks. Just wanted to talk to you for a second. We're gonna set up somewhere right here. Hopefully this is a whole, I just wanna talk to you. Don't want too much sunlight to take over. Let's see if we can block this here. We tilt it over here slightly. Anyway, I want to thank you again for following me, subscribing to me, doing all the things that you need to do to learn about this whole thing about passive income. And on my show, Passive Income Central, I give people the facts and the layout of what they need to do and what to avoid. And it's very important that you do that. Again, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, Passive Income Central with Luke Brooks. So today, I didn't do a show yesterday. Today, I want to talk to you about how multiple streams of income can actually help you when it comes to generational wealth. A lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people are living check to check, or from what I'm seeing now, check to broke. Meaning that if you're relying on one source of income, right, and you blow that check in a couple of days, you're not seeing any more money for a possible 2 weeks or longer. A lot of us don't know how to manage our money. A lot of us let our money manage us versus us managing our money. And it's very crucial that we get a hold of that, because with these times that we're living in now, with inflation, with everything going up, with trouble with laying a decent job. I just had a conversation with one of my friends, and they just told me that she's getting laid off. And I told her I feel sorry about that, because I had family members that went through that multiple times. My father got laid off twice at his job. His job just took off. My mom got laid off when I was very young. My sister got laid off not too long ago, because these jobs are leaving. And the thing is that we gotta stop being the worker bee. We gotta stop being the machine in this whole process of capitalist wealth, right? Meaning that someone is on your back, pressing you, taking your time and giving you very little money, and taxing you, more importantly, a lot more. When you create wealth, it's not about just you. To me, it's like a legacy. This is for the guys and girls out there who are looking to have something for their family. Whether you have a little newborn baby or you have older kids or whatnot, and you want them to have a better life. I would tell you something. When you do that, you open new dimensions for people. And when I mean dimensions, I'm not talking about going out of space. I'm not talking about Stranger Things or anything like that. I'm talking about actually opening a pathway that they are going to live as normal, where you never experienced it until later on in life. For example, my parents never went to a 4-year college or university, let alone got a master's degree. That opened up a new world for me right there. So my whole belief and my whole understanding is that I need to open up a new path whenever I have kids, whenever I have that family. And some of us are going to be like, I don't need to listen. If this don't apply to you, then just leave, because I really want to ground home with the family unit. Because at the end of the day, you are going to get old. You're all going to be rotten. You're all going to be needing help, medical attention, things and whatnot. So you're either going to have a lot of money at the end of the day, right? And I'm not talking about a few $100s. I'm talking about up in the millions. Because as you get older, you're going to need someone to take care of you. Well, you're going to have to pay for some nurses to come in there if you get hurt, right? If you don't have kids. Where if you have kids and you raise them right and they value what you're teaching them, and you give them those lessons, those proverbs like my family did, as far as teaching me hard work, teaching me how to do things day to day, not relying on one person to do something, being able to know how to do it, how this is supposed to look, then that's going to come back to you. But the greater thing is that you see a lot of these banks, right? You see a lot of these companies that you look and say, well, how did they get involved with that? And you can go and look and say, well, their great-grandfather or their great-great-grandfather was part of this organization, and now it's come down to them, like J.P. Morgan and Chase. You're looking at the Bank of America. You're looking at people on Wall Street, certain businesses, Duns and Bradstreet, certain characters right there, where that tradition carried on, and they just kept building and building and building, meaning that they have a family business. And you're seeing this with franchise owners too, where as they get older, they don't want to do this no more. Their child's already involved with this early on. And I mean early on, I'm talking about when they probably can say mama and daddy, so they can be indoctrinated, basically. So things that I tell people is that you can't take any of this with you when it's time for you to go. Whether you have millions of dollars, a nice plane, plenty of houses, things like that. So what you have to do is be able to have some type of way where your family will never have to go through a hard time, which you're going through probably right now if you're listening, or the suffering in general. I look at wealth as a way to open up doors that usually are not afforded to based on certain things. And I'm not going to go down that avenue, but you catch my drift. When you have wealth, you do have power. And I'm not sitting there saying, oh, it's bad and this and that. And you have certain people who are put out that it's good to be poor. And this is crazy. These are the people that really drunk some juice that I don't know of. That they'll say it's better to be poor than to be an evil corporation full of money and this and that. And it's not everyone like that, right? Not everyone like that. You got poor people who are mean and demented. Well, you have good poor people, right? But the thing is, you don't want to be poor because opportunities will wait for you. There's certain things that open up opportunities, okay? Now, depending on what you're doing, if you're a scientist, you're a lawyer, a doctor, education is very critical, right? I'm not going to sit there and say you go to the school of business like I did. I went to school of business. They didn't teach you about entrepreneurship other than one course. That's it. And it wasn't where you got a degree at the end of it. It just taught you, this is the traditional ways of doing things. And there's not really emphasis on how to create your own jobs versus you go work for someone and they give you some money at that job. I look at it like this, guys. How much are you worth? Because that's your wealth factor right there. How much are you worth? How much money is worth for you for your whole life? And then I take it to the next step, because we're talking about generations. How well off do you want your family to be? Do you just want your kids to be okay? Do you want their kids to be okay? Do you want their kids to be okay? So forth. Are they going to be looked after? Or are you going to have something left behind? I mean, yes, you have family. That's one thing right there. But to have a strong legacy, to put something behind, to say, hey, my name is across this. My name is doing this. I'm creating this. I'm creating things that help people. That is probably the highest thing that I can see myself doing before it's time for me to go, right? I want to have something where I can help people. I tell guys this. I tell women this. We got to get out of this pettiness. As an entrepreneur, yes, you're going to count your coins and things like that, but we got to get our pettiness, meaning that Bobby says something about you, say your business is a con, or Tammy, I don't think it's going to work. Because those people are trying to take you off your concentration. When you're talking about generational wealth, you have to be focused. You have to be definitely on path on what you need to do in order to make this happen. So if you're dead set on, you got to put the blinders on like the horses do in the races, where they can't see left or right. They just focus on what's ahead of them. Because if you start looking left and right, you're going to lose track of what the main thing is ahead of the road, right? You don't need a glance. You're not driving a car, you're driving your future. And at the end, your future is very important, because your future is relying on those other folks that are looking at you. They're like, hey, we're looking at you to take us home, right? Now, I'm not sitting there saying you need to be with someone who just going to loaf off of you. I'm not talking about that. You need to be with someone who's going to actually see your vision. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, they need to be Mrs. Trump, President Trump's first wife. You don't got to be like that, but you got to have someone who's going to give you support. They're going to have a background to say, I got your back. No matter what, I'm not going to knock your dream. I'm not going to say you're a loser, because that stuff adds up. I was reading about the director for Black Panther. Before Black Panther was created, he was broke. He started off that, they didn't give him that the first thing to do, but before he started off, he didn't have any money, but he wanted to do this. He had a dream, and his woman actually stepped up, bought him the software to start writing scripts that he needed to, and that took him from there to millions of dollars, where he's constantly being called on to make new movies, right? That right there is worth everything. He admits to it. He said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my wife. I wouldn't be here because this is what she did. She had my back at the end of the day. I want that legacy to carry on, right? When you get that right one, when it comes to your wealth, why not have that generational wealth? You know, at the end of the day, it's y'all two together. You got your family, got your kids and things like that, but you don't want to leave no one out there. You don't want to leave someone that's in trouble that can't help themselves out when she's gone. I always tell people this too. Another way to leave generational wealth, if you don't have no business background, you don't want to get in no business, you don't care about no investments, you know this from the get-go and you're pretty young. Life insurance. Now, you don't got to tell your family that you got life insurance on if you don't want to, because some of y'all are paranoid, oh, they're going to kill me. You should already know who you will before you get to that point. But leaving a decent sized amount of money will create generational wealth. Now, we got to get smart now as we get older, as we start leaving out of the workforce. We shouldn't be having all these crazy bills. Too many of us right now walking around, especially in America, plumb broke. Don't have no way of getting out. Always saying, well, the only way I can get out is to spend more money on these credit cards and dig myself way out. But you're not doing anything with those credit cards to make you money. You're consuming them. You're a consumer. You're not doing anything to flip that money, because at the end of the day, you're buying clothes. I'm not saying you walk around with rags and stuff, right? I'm not telling you that. But if you're just buying clothes all the time, every week, every paycheck, and you're not doing anything with the other clothes, you're not selling them, you're not doing something with them, you're consuming it. It's this one-way street right here. Versus where I use my card to buy my car that I put on my business. My business is generating money. So you see how that money has went one way to another? That's how you do it. So guys, we gotta be careful with this. Because with money will come and go, but your time on earth is ticking. It's like it's a sand glass, right? You know, as sand in an hourglass. That's how days of our lives are going to be, right? It's going to run out. And I tell people, if you really want to be considerate, get down and start writing the things that you need in your life that you want to have happen. Because once you do that, it starts making you think. It's an exercise. You may know already in your head, but when you write it out and you start trying to get to 100 items, try to go for 100. And it could be basic things. I want to go out of the country. Get particular with that. I want to go live in Thailand for a year. I want to go live in Vietnam. I want to go live in Philippines. I want to do all this. Write it down. No matter what it is, write it down. Because at the end of the day, when you start writing these things down, it starts messing with your head. It starts to get you going. You really start seeing the things that you really want to have when it comes to you generating the goals that you want to have. And then when you start creating that discipline, when you start looking at it day in, day out, saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Whether you're just sitting there looking at your goals before you go to work, or whether you're looking at it at your desk at work, or whatever it may be, where you say, hey, I need something to get me driving again. Look at those sheets. Look at the goals that you list down. If you don't want to do that, you could do another thing. You could do a collage and do a vision board. We're going to be talking about a vision board coming up here again on the show. And I'm going to show you, we're going to make one on the show. I'm going to show you what I think about what's important to me and why it's important to me. And just having that, it's going to affect you. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say it's hocus pocus, but I will say that what you put into this universe will come back out to you, whether it's twofold, tenfold, or 100-fold, depending on how much power you're putting in there. I do believe in that. So if you're going into the gym, and this is the example, I love the gym part because I see my nephew hitting the gym, and I'm going to the gym, not as much as him, but he's hitting it hard. He goes to the gym every day. He's taking photos every day. Looking at how he was about 6-7 years ago, you would be like, that's not the same person. But he's putting in that time, right? He's focusing. He's putting in the time day in, day out. He's eating right. He's eating clean. He's staying away from the nonsense. That energy that he's put into the gym is coming back to him. I would say 100-fold. Cut up, getting ready for competitions, doing the things that he wants to do. Same thing for your business. Whether you're making videos like I'm doing on a consistent basis, whether you're sitting there talking about the things that you're going to have happen, because the year is 2022 and we're going to make it happen, and you're putting in, day out, you're doing the things right. It doesn't feel like work because This is your dream that you're trying to get to, that you will get to. It's not even trying anymore. We're not going to talk about these things where we're going to try and think this and think that. At the end of the day, I see people out here, they're looking out for the family. They're looking at what can I provide for my family? How can I be a good provider? How can I be someone that leaves a legacy behind for my family that can go after the things that they want? And that can be you. You do that day in, day out. I promise you within 1 year, you will look back and say, well, the energy that I put into focus is coming right back to me better. It might not be a whole much change. It might not be like a 1 degree rudder or 2 degree, but it's some type of change where you can see that you took care of something that was very positive. But the same thing can happen on the negative side. If you sit here every day, you procrastinate, you don't do the things right, well, that generational wealth ain't gonna happen. You're just gonna be blaming everyone else. Well, they rich because they did this, and blah 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 this, and blah 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 that. Fortunes are made for people that a small percentage of people inherit, right? Okay? A large other percentage is folks that are sitting there and they make the things happen for them. They make the things happen day in, day out, and create the wealth. Look at the guy, Jeff Bezos. I might be pronouncing his name right. Founder of Amazon. You know where Amazon was founded at? In a garage. I can't make that up. He created Amazon in his garage. You look at Apple. How that was created. In a garage. Well, hell, I need to get a garage. You think about it. You think about Facebook. It was some university students who created that. Wanted to network with other students and really made that happen. And you see what it is. We're using the platform right now. You look at Netflix. You look at how that started. That could have been snuffed out easily by Blockbuster. But Blockbuster didn't think it was going to work. But you know what Netflix did? They believed in themselves and they made it work. And it took off. And the rest is history. Don't let someone take your dream that you desire to have, that you want to have, happen away from your mind. Because the easiest thing to kill someone with, it's not with just a gun. It's not with a knife. You don't even got to have those weapons. It's with the words and thoughts of what people are putting inside your head. If they tell you that you're not going to make it, then if you have doubt in your mind, you're going to find a way not to make it and be like, you know what, they're right. That's self-fulfilling prophecy. If you sit there and put those limited thoughts on you because people putting them on you, who are they? I said, who are they? They can't do anything. They can't enslave you. We're not slaves. If you allow them to enslave your mind, then yeah, you're their slave. And I will say that at that point, I mean that very figuratively and literally, right? They can do that to you. You have to be stronger than them when it comes to creating that wealth. Multiple streams of income is possible. And I don't care about if you're from the United States or not. I'll give you another example. I already told you about Miss Rose. Miss Rose has about 3 or 4, and you know who she is. If you've been watching my shows, Miss Rose knows what she's doing. Multiple streams. She's always telling me about, hey, this is what I'm doing now. What do you think about it? And it blows through. She is disciplined. She's always posting. She's always creating content. It's where these other guys that come in and out, right? That come in, buy my stuff, right? Buy my stuff. They have no plan. They don't put in the effort. They don't even think about wealth. They just think about, I just got to get the next meal. And again, that goes back to living check to broke. I'm just trying to get the next meal for tonight. They're not thinking about, how can I sustain this where I don't have to be working as hard as I am for the next 10, 20, 30 years. A lot of people don't want to think that way. A lot of people are afraid of hard work, but the folks that are watching this, the folks that really want to make this happen are not going to run away when it comes to hard times. The more it's worth, the harder you got to fight for it. If you can do that, nothing can stop you. When it comes to your wealth, you got to think bigger scope. Some of us are thinking the 10,000 feet altitude level. We got to be thinking outside of the stratosphere. We got to be thinking that way when it comes to us trying to make sure everything's right. Because generational wealth can change not just you, but the people around you, the community that you live in. It can get to a part where you can affect how things are run in your city or in your state if you got that clout like that. Now, guys, I'm not sitting here trying to talk about run for Congress or anything like that, but I'm just telling you that the outcomes of having generational wealth outweigh anything that you may have ever heard before. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. I challenge you to put in 1 year's worth of daily input into your business, whether you're making videos, whether you're doing a blog, whether you're typing up something, whether you're just posting the things that you're doing. Do it. Take the time and do it. Make it happen. Don't let anyone tell you, because sometimes folks get motivated. I tell you, motivation comes like the wind. It can be there, it can not be there, it can be too strong, it can be too little. You need to have discipline. So day in, day out, we need to work on that. I'm not sitting there saying you can't have a day off from working, but do you want to really do that? Do you really think you can afford that? I say go in all the time. Give 100% of your effort, and things will come tenfold for you. Again, guys, I thank you for tuning in. My name is Mr. Luke Evan Brooks. If you feel like this has reached you, touched you, please go ahead, share, like, and subscribe. I will also tell you this too. For the ones that are ready to take the next step, or the ones that are struggling right now, I have now posted that link that I've always been telling you about. And I got to go back to all my other videos I've been posting lately to my free course. Free course is going to walk you A to Z on how to start your business on Facebook, getting organic leads. And if you don't know what organic leads is, it's free leads. I'm going to show you how to make your profile sexy when it comes to having folks who want to buy whatever you're offering come to you versus you going out to them. I'll show you some key strategies. And it's all about that, having that sex appeal, because people ain't going to buy from someone. It is like, it don't look like they're confident. It don't look like it's got any type of appeal to it. It's like, yeah. So I'm going to show you exactly what I do. And this is day in, day out. And it doesn't require a whole lot other than you just sitting behind a computer and following along. You do these things, I promise you, people will start coming to your profile a lot. I can tell you this. Doing this and one other thing, my friend connector, I had to shut down my computer because too many people are reaching. Every day I'm getting contacted about services, about my business, and it's just so much. So I'm getting more help and it's coming its way. So again, guys, you don't believe me? What you got to lose? Try out the free course. Again, my name is Mr. Luke Evan Brooks. I will see you on the other side. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them down below. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, we'll talk about. Okay? Other than that, take care.